Tigers Panthers. This one we found a little easier to call. The Tigers are in good form, but we're going Panthers. I mean, the Panthers look a better side. You saw it last week. Cleary still managing to control the pack despite having a golf ball protruding from his upper forehead. You know, even a 50% fit Nathan Cleary still has the ability to steer that Panthers side around the park. He's just phenomenal. I mean, the Tigers are unchanged 1-17. Still no sign of Benji Marshall coming back. Don't blame him, to be honest. Been broke, don't fix it. It's going to be tight. I don't think it's going to be a runaway Panthers, but I think it's probably going to be a try or a converted try or just a little more there.
Yeah, Panthers 1-12 for those who are looking for value. Otherwise, Panthers just head-to-head for me. Mansour back for Naden, who scored 2 tries. I think that's when you know that this Panthers team this year is the real deal. Brent Naden, who should be in the 17, in theory would be in the 17 at the Tigers, taken over from Tommy Talau, is now back on the extended reserves list, with Mansour coming in. Cleary, like you said, even with the damn baseball on his face, still controlled the team. Their forward pack is fantastic. I think that the issue that there's going to be is whether Luciano Leilua and Luke Garner show up like they did last week, or if Luciano Leilua and Luke Garner show up like they have in previous weeks and are kind of just passive after the first 10 minutes. If they play like how they did last week, there is a high chance that they run over Big Billy Kickout as he starts to tire, and Ivan Cleary will have to pull the trigger on Billy Burns early. If not, and they become passive, you're going to see Cleary and Luai kicking to kick out from 20 meters out and just letting them barrel through. I still question Matt Burton on the bench.
Yep.
But again, you look at their extended reserves, especially now without Hetherington as well. Mitch Kenny's a hooker. Brent Naden's a winger. Spencer Lanu, haven't heard a lot about him. I'm not going to try and tell you that he should be there over Burton. And Tyrone May, really, May's being held out because Luai is playing superbly. Yeah. Otherwise, it'd be Tyrone May in the 6 and Luai on the bench. So, look, it's going to be a tight game. I agree. Panthers 1-12 for me for the value bet. But I would go with a North Luma anytime try. And the Tigers have been a little the Panthers have been known to give a half a try or two. So if you really want a value bet, I wouldn't be against playing someone like a Josh Reynolds for any time. Reynolds usually pays about $4.50. But Panthers 1-12.
Yeah. I mean, I look at the two sides. I mean, you've got two quality hookers there. You've got Coruscant and Grant, who arguably are two of the premier rakes in the competition right now. They're playing fantastic. They're both in brilliant form. Both coming to new sides as well. Mansour keeping out Naden was going to happen because, I mean, you saw the difference last week. The Panthers lose a lot of go forward when they lose Mansour because he's consistently their biggest meter maker. When you've got players like Billy Kickow and Isaiah Yeo and James Fisher-Harris, and your winger is still your biggest meter maker, it tells you how well he does off kick returns and how well he does at building the base for coming off your back line. When you're looking for a get-out set, Mansour's your man that steps up. So I think the Tigers are going to have a hard time limiting the Panthers' meters. I think the Panthers, as soon as they start getting a roll on this game, could get away from the Tigers. So I am leaning more towards sort of the Panthers 1-12 like you are, but the high end of that 1-12, to be honest. I mean, the Tigers, again, you see it. They are somewhat of a confidence team. Once they get going and get the tails up, they're going great. As soon as they start to slip a little, it's a problem. As you mentioned, Burton, they need to make a decision on Burton. Coming up against a big physical Tigers pack, you cannot afford to be using 16 out of your available 17. You can't afford, when there's 20 minutes left to play, to go, right, okay, Matt, really sorry, mate, but you're going to have to sit this one out again because we can't. You've got to make a decision one way or the other at this point, because otherwise it's going to catch up. It's going to catch up with them. And in the late game, the Panthers will start to slip, and the last 20 minutes of the game will become the biggest slog of every single game for them, because their forward pack will be tired. Even if they pick up an injury, and now you've got Burton there, someone's going to have to do big minutes. And you don't want Kickow doing the big minutes, because you've seen that he is not as effective as he can be when he is forced to do the big minutes. So you'd probably take a risk on Martin. Or, as you mentioned, pulling the trigger on Burns a little earlier than you'd expect. So I am sceptical.
The positive, I think, that I can see from this forward line for the Panthers is they are very, very adaptable. James Fisher-Harris last year played the majority of the year as lock.
Yeah.
And a very good lock at that. Isaiah Yeo, never mind the fact that Billy Burns is a second rower. Isaiah Yeo, applied his craft as a second rower who can and has filled in at centre and quite well. Yeah, he if playing in the centres is the best defensive centre in the competition. That leaves you Ted Ivano on the bench, out and out prop. Moses Leota, prop lock. Billy Burns, just a bustling second rower, and I think they're still pretty set.
Yeah, I'm gonna lock in Panthers on a -8.5.